Well, welcome to the 12th episode of the Sola San Diego podcast. Appreciate you guys stopping by. We got Austin and Malin on the podcast today. How's it going today, guys?
What's up?
Going good. How is everybody?
Good. Yeah, we're
Great.
good. We're good. What's up, Haley?
Hey, how's it going?
It's been a month or so since we've hopped on here.
I know.
Good to be back here.
Happy to be back.
Yep, and happy Pride as well.
Happy Pride, everybody.
Yes,
Happy
yes,
Pride
yes.
out there to all of our LGBTQ community. Yeah.
Most definitely. We got Malin on the podcast. Malin, you have been with Sola for how long now?
I believe I said 15, but
I think it's pushing 16.
you corrected me. Yes, so 16 years now.
Pushing 16 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
That's
impressive.
amazing.
I know.
And you were at the Mission Valley location here at Sola.
I am.
The second location in San Diego.
Yep, second location.
Second
ever.
location in California.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
See, I learned something new every day.
Second location west of Denver, Colorado.
Wow.
Wow.
West of the Rockies?
West of the Rockies, yeah.
knew?
That's way cooler to say it that way.
Way cooler.
Yeah.
west of the Rockies.
West of the Rockies, yep.
So you started your hair career. Give us a little bit of insight on how you started being a stylist. You said you started in Hillcrest area, been doing hair for 30 plus years. I mean, just an amazing feat in
Yeah, it
itself.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a native San Diegan.
Yep.
I was born here in Mission Bay, San Diego.
Yep.
I was fortunate enough to know right in my senior year, I thought I was going to be a photographer. I took photography through high school and changed my direction my senior year and started cosmetology school after I graduated high school, and the rest is just a long history from there. But yeah, started professionally when I was 20.
Nice. Where did he go to school? A hair school?
Oh, I don't even think they're even a name anymore.
Let's give him a shout out.
It was Duluth School of Cosmetology here in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
Duluth?
Duluth.
Duluth, okay.
Delous. I believe there's an E in there, but Duluth School of Cosmetology, yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Sounds French.
Yeah. Super French.
Fancy.
Very, very fancy.
It was not fancy.
Just one guy, like, or
Yeah.
girl to
it
help you.
it was a thing, but yeah, fancy was not one of it.
So you started in Hillcrest. You said you were at a few different salons starting
Yeah.
up in your career. Talk a little bit about that and doing hair in the 80s in Hillcrest, which is just like, just a whole trip in itself.
It was a cultural scene for sure, doing hair in the 80s in Hillcrest. I worked at a shout out for Ralph's Hair Place way back in the day.
Yeah.
They're not around anymore, but that was a lot of fun. Just a whole different experience.
Yeah.
I was very young, clearly, at the time. And, having a wine cooler in the front of the large salon and the partying and the lifestyle of the scene was so different back then.
I've heard a little bit about
going on.
the doing hair in the 80s lifestyle.
Yeah. I'll let you lean
Sounds
in. If you
pretty
have any
interesting,
questions,
yeah.
I'll answer it. I could just nod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smile and nod.
Just smile and nod, say,
Yeah.
yes, that happened. Yes, that happened.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a whole different work environment for sure. And then moved around. I worked at a great salon with lovely owners, 9th Avenue Hair.
Yep.
It's no longer there, but that was a really great experience. Wavelength Hair up here in Hillcrest. And then I moved and worked for years with a great artist, Esteban. But Esty was known, he's in Mission Valley. Mm-hmm. And I was with him for a good decade before I opened up my first salon and spa. And shout out to Esty, he's no longer with us, but he was a hoot and just a gem to work with. And learned a lot.
I've definitely heard of yeah. I've heard that name before.
Esty was quite the character and very big in our industry. So
Yes, definitely. And so you started your salon and spa up in Hillcrest. And how many chairs did you say you had up there?
So we had a full salon and spa. I had 5 treatment rooms. We had a wet room as well. We did wet massage, full facials, hair, skin, and nails. My salon area we had 12 chairs then, and we had a makeup room. So it was a great adventure. I built it myself, designed it, built it myself.
Yeah.
with help of other people, of course. But
I assume you hired somebody with hammers and nails.
Someone like that.
Drywall.
You didn't
Just
paint
pick
it
people off the
yourself?
street.
I know Malin
Like,
well enough. He ain't hanging drywall.
I have hung drywall in my life.
Yeah,
but I wasn't really good at it.
I have not hung drywall.
Me neither. I think you're the only one in this room.
Sometimes you have to
not
do what you have to do.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And so built it out, and it was really a great experience. I don't recommend it for the faint at heart.
Faint of heart, yeah.
No.
Yeah, most definitely. And what was it, 3,200 square feet you said?
It was 32, pushing maybe a little more even, but I can't remember the exact number. Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a massive salon.
And we were right on
and
Fourth.
so, correct me if I'm wrong, but then what you had done is you had closed it down because of what purpose to then move to Sola? What was
that little voice in your head?
Yeah.
It was just time. It was 7 days a week, and I did enjoy it, and I grew it from scratch. And I met people, and we had stylists that worked with me for a very long time, and it was a great experience. But it's that little voice in your head that just kind of clicks in, and it's like it's time to move on. And in my career, not move on, like not be a stylist. I've always been a stylist. So I sold it. Just sold in 30 days, and I need to make some changes in my life. And so Austin, sitting right here to my left, was one of those changes that came along through just that little voice of it's time to move on. Yeah.
Which I think worked out because we had opened our first Sola in west of the Rockies, which was La Jolla, and and it's our first baby, and I love that salon, but it was a struggle. Bird Rock's a tough place to get to, and didn't do well right out of the gates. And then we said we need to be in Mission Valley, and at the time that was pre-economic, Armageddon, honestly, when 08, 09 hit, like
08, 09 were like
really was.
It was brutal. And so retail was so expensive. Like you couldn't find retail space to put a salon in. At the time, nobody knew what the hell Sola was, right? Mm-hmm. And so we had a broker, a guy named Kip Stettenbauer, who really helped us grow this brand in San Diego. And we had approached retail landlords, and they would just laugh us out the door. So we said, okay, well, that's the next option is
I know that
office.
feeling.
Yeah.
I got laughed at a lot, too.
Yeah. It builds character.
Now look at you guys,
And somebody laughs you out the building, it's not exactly something you want to hear, but it builds character. But so we looked at office space and ground floor office space. Because one, you had a bunch of parking. Two, is right in the part of town you want to be in. And we learned through La Jolla, Bird Rock location, that we want to be in Mission Valley. And we found that location. And Stratton Smith, the founder of Sola, came out and said, we showed him the space and said, "What do you think?" And I thought he was going to say, "You're fucking crazy," put in the coldest.
We can swear on this?
You can swear. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We just mark it as explicit. It's okay.
Yeah, put that little element from the old CDs, explicit. But I wasn't sure about that, but his only way to get in the part of town I wanted to be in, and he said, "This is a great option. There's zero signage. Not really, except for the old El Torito, which was where we first met, or at least first had a meeting, I should say. And then the old Benihana that's still there. But other than that, it's just a bunch. It kills it. I think that Benihana does well.
Crushes it.
It could
Everyone
be a
knows
Benihana.
where it is.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
Benihana could be on the moon, and people would sniff it out.
It's true. That volcano, whole volcano thing they do.
It never gets old.
No, never.
When they throw eggs at you.
Yeah, right.
It freaks out my son, but I still.
You teach him how to do it, the egg catch. Yeah,
exactly. Stick on the spatula. But Stratton said, this makes sense. You should go for it. Because it had parking, it had a bunch of windows and everything like that. And said, all right, let's do it. Then, we started building it. That's kind of a long story short. And I was scared as hell. And then You
didn't look at it.
I didn't look at it, really?
No, you played that one well.
Really?
Yeah, you did.
All right, well, I'll take that. I was shitting my pants.
FYI, yeah, no, you should not think that at all.
All right, well, I'll take
thought you
that.
were
Yeah,
gonna
that's a big
Great
W right
compliment,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, we love that. We love
You gotta
that.
fake
Yeah,
it
no,
until you make
you
it.
held those cards really tight.
So I'm building this whole new idea, right?
He goes in the car and he's like,
Exactly,
afterwards.
yeah, that's cried. Yeah, just cry in the car. But it was just a. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to explain to somebody like Malin, who's obviously a very successful hairdresser in town and was on, what was the radio show you
I
did
did
for
the
years?
morning show with KGB and Shelley
yeah.
Dunn and Dave. Yeah, I did. I was the stylist, the guest stylist, and come on in the mornings. Yeah,
That's right. I remember you telling me that, and you did quote unquote local celebrity hair, and I was like, holy shit! I don't even know what that means.
talk about stress and shit in your pants.
Yeah, right.
You intimidated Austin back
Yeah, no, big time. And so I was, building this salon. We were building a salon at the time, me and my father Nick, and we built it in an office building in a dead end cul-de-sac
Yep.
in Mission Valley
Yep.
on the corner of the 163 and the 8.
Yep.
And that's when I realized that this concept might have some legs to it. Is honestly when I met Malin, right?
Yep.
Somebody that is a rooted, successful hairdresser in Hillcrest and is interested in moving to an office building in Mission Valley to have a studio. And that's when it hit me that like, oh shit, this might work. Because when we built La Jolla Salon, jury was still out. We had some great people, Mindy McKnight, who I got nothing but love for, and she was one of the first people not one of the first, the first person to move into Sola. She lived in LA now, but that salon struggled for a while. But this is when I realized that this is something that might actually work.
Yeah, and I was sweating it out then too because, I had chose to downsize and I did not know what that was going to look like. To be honest, I was just throwing it out there. Like I said, I sold in 30 days. I mean, that's basically telling someone you have to move in 30 days. I'm like, oh, where am I going? And so,
Yeah.
it was very just interesting I got referred as I was looking around where to go to Austin and called him. We set up a meeting, we met, and you were showing me the space. And right away, well, from my point of view, I thought the space was great. I loved the building. I loved that it was in a dead-end cul-de-sac and it had parking and it was quiet and central of town. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And it was dirt floors, I think. You just got to see it the first time we met and we had drinks. We went for margaritas at El Torito in Mission Valley. Anybody know what that was?
Yeah. There's a few still around.
How many margaritas?
Oh,
Over under.
I like a pitcher at least. Yeah,
Over under 4.
So, and that was great. He's like, let's go for drinks. I said, oh, well, this guy's talking my language. We can have margaritas. Okay, middle of the afternoon? Absolutely.
Yeah. Talking the hairstylist language right there.
We started, and he was explaining what he was doing with this space, and I was fully in. I was like, this is great. Yes. Totally what I was looking for.
And I mean, that's such a leap of faith, being that, like, you do have La Jolla right under your belt, and you're not quite sure, like it wasn't quite the success you thought it was, but you taking a leap and going into another a solo location, but then you also going from a 3,200 square foot space down into this studio concept that was not even fathomable in the beauty industry.
No.
Which is like, I don't know how low the odds are that someone would do that, but I would say it's pretty low.
You took a chance.
That is a pretty low chance, and that it is so successful. It blows my mind.
Yeah, it really hit after we were having our drinks that you were showing me the blueprints.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And it was in the blueprints that I saw the space and the idea and the concept in my mind. I could visually see it. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know if everybody does that, but to me, I was really hooked. I was like, oh, this is great. Yeah. I'm definitely interested in this. Because the project on the blueprints, I could see where it was going. Yeah.
The entrepreneurial spirit of yourself, but also you meeting with Austin and having margaritas together and seeing that he's such a stand-up guy
Sure.
probably helped as well, right?
Sure. Nod and say yes.
Yeah,
Nod and say
yes, exactly.
Austin,
You know the
excuse me,
game.
guy?
Come on, the game we're playing
Exactly.
here. Yeah, right.
No, yeah, exactly. No, it was really fun. And on that note, it was just so great that the personality he has that comes across very, very easy to speak with, and it was very low key. And I was like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air. So it was good for me.
Yeah, it was good for me too. Because like I said, I would have, when somebody like yourself showed interest, and also Leanna Lane. Remember Leanna?
Oh yeah, Leanna.
And
Well,
it
I
was
worked with the
two. It
girls.
was kind of you and Leanna, yeah. And then that whole
Yeah.
crew with Leanna had Leanna and Stacy and Susie, who obviously works with you now.
Yeah, the girls
Selena
that-
works
yeah.
with you now in your studio. Michael, remember Michael?
Michael, yeah.
Michael is such a ball buster.
Yes.
He'd always give me a hard. I remember when we first moved, everybody got settled, right?
Yeah.
And his cell phone didn't get good reception in the building, and he was giving me a fucking hard time about it.
Oh.
I'll never forget that.
Like a cell guy.
What is that? Am I supposed to
Just put a cell tower up.
Am I supposed to be able to fix
Mr.
the fact that his
AT&T?
cell phone doesn't work here? No, I'm just giving him a hard time. But I actually haven't talked to him or seen him in years. But good dude. But Stacy,
blame you
Leanna,
after that.
Selena, Susie. I mean, and Susie and Selena are work in Malin's studio now.
They work
and-
with me. We teamed up, and they've
Incredible.
just been great. And again, as I was saying, I've met so many great people. I've been so blessed with a great career, and
yeah.
I mean, these girls are great, and just all the other stylists I've worked with and been with, or even worked in the space with, have been
Yep.
great.
And then we were talking about before is I just feel like this industry is so important to expand your social circle, and I think you're obviously very good at it. I enjoy that.
Yep.
I enjoy expanding my social circle, and I feel like that's such an important thing. And that's I think one of the reasons that you've been so successful over this year, like over the years that we just like we were talking about earlier today.
You had to be able to have 30 years in the belt in our industry is quite something, and the journey it takes to keep those 30 years going is you definitely have to have a little grit and a little. So I'm very social. I love being with people, so it's a little easier for me.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's-
same.
But it's definitely important. You have to get out there and build that network, and
Most definitely.
between social media and just networking personally and socially I think is very important. You got to get out there and meet people.
Yeah, and not
Yeah.
just on TikTok.
Not just on TikTok.
Are you on TikTok,
Actually,
Malin?
like human interaction.
Well,
Are you on TikTok?
I TikTok.
You do TikTok?
I TikTok.
Love
Okay.
scrolling.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know what I love about my friends and clients is that they keep me TikToking, so it's great.
Nice.
I like
nice.
Yeah.
We like that. We like that.
They send me in yes, keep me in yes. I wake up with a TikTok usually laughing. A few people. I won't mention names, but yeah.
Love it, love it. So also going off of that is that, you guys have grown a history together, a relationship. Obviously, you've gotten to know Lisa as well.
Oh, yes.
Talk a little
my
bit
wife
about,
is
Lisa, which is Austin's wife.
Yeah.
Lisa and her heels.
I do know that there are some stories, brewing about her coming over to Palm Springs,
Oh, yes.
hanging out with you guys.
I don't know if
talk
I
a
ever
little
made-
bit about that, a little
Real-
just a
before- yeah,
just a
before you-
little snippet,
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
I definitely want to hear Malin's story, but yeah. So we, Lisa and I, especially pre-kids, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
A handful of times.
Yes.
We came out to Palm Springs, where Malin spends half his life, right?
Yes, I've been out-
60% of your life.
In Palm Springs, I've been living there for since 2006 and 7. So it's been a bit, and I love our community in Palm Springs. Hi, everybody who is residing in Palm Springs.
What's up, Palm
Hello.
Springs?
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out Palm
Hey,
Springs.
you forgot to
Palm
say you
Springs.
commute back and forth.
I do commute. I do. I come in on Thursdays and work to Saturdays now and commute back home with my lovely
Yeah.
husband. Live in Palm
Nice.
Springs. It's
Yeah.
horrible. Torture,
Palm Springs, I do love it out there.
Completely.
But it's,
tortured soul.
yeah, exactly. But now this was, over 10 years ago. But Lisa and I went out a handful of times to go, have getaway weekends and spent some time with Malin, and then Lisa with some, I think a bachelorette, and then one other time like a girlfriend's birthday or something. But anyways,
Yeah. Well,
you'd always show us a good time. That's for sure.
The one that comes out that we were speaking of, we always do, is when it was on a Sunday, and Lisa and Austin were coming into town, and so we have a great club. It's still around, but they did drag shows on Sunday night, and of course, me in a drag show anytime. And
Oh, yeah.
Toucans, right?
Are you kidding me?
Toucans.
Yeah.
Shout out for Toucans.
Yep.
And it was in the afternoon, and we were, of course, by a pool, and I had met this Marilyn Monroe impersonator, but she was a woman.
Okay.
Well, at least she told me she was. And, and she was, a dead-on Marilyn Monroe impersonator.
Yeah.
So Austin and Lisa were going to join me for the show, and I invited this Marilyn Monroe impersonator to come with me and meet Austin and Lisa. I thought they're going to hit it off and have a blast, and we can see the show.
Yeah.
Well, sure enough, she followed along and came to Toucans with me, and I introduced Lisa and Austin, and both of them were just, starstruck with this woman.
Yeah,
Was a
she
complete
looked-
lookalike
it was
of
kinda
Marilyn
eerie.
Monroe.
Yeah.
And
So the Marilyn Monroe looked like, you said that she had like the work done to look like Marilyn
Yes.
Monroe too.
Yes.
Like she wasn't born with it, but she was just like, I want to look like Marilyn Monroe.
And she did.
That is.
I
just
think she did it
amazing.
professionally, right?
That
I mean,
is,
she did this
yeah, and
as
she
a
like
career.
had like
she did
what, like a manager and stuff, like
Yes.
multiple managers.
Yeah, she had 2 managers
Insane.
with her that day.
Insane.
And
Love it.
They didn't want to go to the show. They were trying to get her to go home because I guess she had work to do. As a Marilyn Monroe impersonator.
I
Going
thought
to
you
a
said
drag
Austin
show.
and Lisa were trying to get her to come home. I was like, wait a minute.
That I don't know. Just nod and say yes.
I'd have been up for it.
Nod and say yes.
100%. Yeah, for sure.
I was like, wait, this is not what we talked about.
Look, I've seen pictures of. You showed us pictures
I
of the
showed you pictures.
Marilyn Monroe
Yes.
impersonator. She looks exactly like her, and
Yes.
it's just impressive.
She
Just
was-
impressive.
The drag queens were obsessed. The show had started, and there's
Yeah,
Lisa
they were.
and I think we had quite a few cocktails, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because
I
it
was,
actually ended up being the most hungover I've ever seen Lisa. So yes.
Lisa was having a ball with this woman, and the drag queens, every time they stopped their show, would come over. They were in awe of this Marilyn Monroe impersonator because obviously drag queens, what they do. She was a
Yeah.
real woman. But they were in awe of her, yeah.
Totally.
She was something else. Yep. I think it was Jaeger bombs.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
All the Jaeger bombs
Pretty
catching
good,
up to
yeah.
you.
That's how you know
Or no,
pretty
to her, right?
Yeah, because Lisa and I would do Jaeger bombs before that as well. And I think that was the
Well,
last-
was Marilyn Monroe saying, "Let's take Jaeger bombs"?
she?
That seems
she did
less
drinks,
like
if I
Marilyn
remember
Monroe.
well.
I seem to remember her being a little even keel compared to the rest of the
Oh, okay.
bar.
Probably it was that work thing. It was that work thing for her, right? She
Yeah,
had to get
she
to
was
work.
kinda
I
worried.
feel
Yeah,
like
she
when I
had
think
shit to do,
Marilyn
so.
Monroe, I think of maybe vodka.
Oh,
Vodka shots. Ugh.
Vodka martini.
Vodka martinis.
Espresso martini?
Yeah. Nowadays,
Marilyn's martini.
espresso martini. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
I think
gosh.
she was drinking, but maybe not as much as myself or Lisa or Austin or I am, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to. It's hard to beat. It's hard to
Who
beat.
knows at that point?
Yeah, trying to keep up with Austin at lunch is a hard task.
Keeping up
I
with
can
Marilyn
say.
Monroe is a hard task.
you know, I
Yeah.
used to hang out with Malin more than
Yeah,
I hung out with him.
Oh, stories.
But yeah, fast
Storytelling.
forward to the next morning. That's probably the most hungover I've ever seen
Yeah.
Lisa. And yeah, we went to that what's the name of that Mexican joint? Right in the
Las
main
Consuelas.
Las Consuelas.
Las
Gotcha.
Consuelas.
So I was like, "All right, babe, we got to go. Let's head home, get some Mexican food." And I think her forehead was on the table. And a lot of times it's the opposite, right? It's me that she's like, "Come on, bud, we got to go home." And I was like, "Okay, we got to go home." And then we went back and crashed. We stayed at the Parker.
Yeah, the lovely Parker. Great hotel, isn't it?
It's such a cool hotel. And which I think the Parker was originally the first Holiday Inn in California.
Yes, and Merv Griffin used to own the Parker.
Well, so he owned that, and then the other part was where Merv Griffin housed the California Angels during spring training, right? And so
Okay.
it was basically like a dorm for the California Angels baseball team.
Because when you're
And
Merv Griffin,
the
you can do
original,
that.
yeah, he's a badass.
That are now the LA Angels.
The LA, no, not
Former?
but then it was the California Angels.
Former. Okay, so now they're LA. Okay,
Sports
So
stuff.
back in the good old days, it was the California Angels,
sports.
right?
You know.
Same.
So you had basically dorms for the California Angels during spring training, then the first Holiday Inn ever in California, and then those properties have combined that Merv Griffin owned and then
history,
sold, and
man.
now it's this badass hotel called the Parker. And you walk in and there's this, It's all really low ceilings, mid-century modern.
The big doors.
And the big doors, and then right in the fireplace in the main, there's just a big light-up sign that says drugs.
That was not there when Merv owned it, by the way.
I wonder I wonder if like the manager was just like, hey, you know what? Like,
Right.
what if we just had a neon sign that said drugs?
Drugs.
The new designer.
You think that would be people would come in and grab some rooms from us? Yeah, I think so. That's a great idea.
It worked.
Like,
Yeah,
done. And
let's
then
do
now
it.
these, these
See who
hipsters from
can-
Echo Park in
work.
LA are dropping $950 a night
Yeah, they are,
to
right?
stay at a hotel that says drugs.
Just-
Right?
Wow.
I mean,
genius.
jokes on them, I think,
Yeah,
at that
I mean,
point.
but they created a
came for the
vibe there,
sign.
and they got that whole pool scene out there. And they
You mean
got
the
that-
drugs hotel?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what it was, right? And it's just,
That's
it's
awesome.
like no windows, and you pull up. It's a badass hotel, but we were
Yeah.
staying there, and needless to say, Lisa slept on the floor of the bathroom,
Perfect. Yeah,
Hugging
that's
the toilet.
Very fitting.
and she'd kill me if she hears this. Right? So. But
in-
we've all been
all in
there.
good fun.
We've all been there.
Shout out Lisa. Love you, Lisa.
We love Lisa.
Lisa
We're all
also
in there.
did this creative space that we have here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I love this
Yes, yes.
wallpaper.
Love it. Love it.
I really like it a lot.
So you got to even out.
I'm into
We talk about her being hungover, and then we talk about her designing an
And her
amazing creative
professionalism.
space. Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, we know
She's
how
a
to
classy
balance it.
gal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Lisa. Many nights and fun times with Lisa, even with her friends at the bachelorette party in Palm Springs. Austin wasn't there.
Yeah,
So
I was not there.
Lisa decided to entertain me and with all her girlfriends, and I had my friends with me, and we took over the corner of the club. And yeah, she had her heels, and we were talking about her heels and how fabulous they were. And so she decided she was going to show us how fabulous her heels were up on the bar
Okay.
next to my shots. That she was offended because she wanted the Go-Go Boys shots, not my shots. But the queens loved her heels.
Yep.
And they loved them more up on the bar. It was fantastic.
She put him up like she was in her like living room.
She,
Like,
fully
just-
lifted her leg
fully
and
lifted
put
him.
her leg up on the bar. It was impressive.
That's impressive.
It was very impressive.
Yeah.
Classic Lisa.
Red
Yeah.
bottoms.
She's
What
got
kind of
the-
heels we talking?
You know,
She wishes there were red bottoms. Louboutin, yeah.
I believe they were.
Got the reds.
I
Yeah.
believe they were. So yes, the queens wanted to see.
The Queens won.